Mic check 1 2 1 2. Here he is.
The man.
Eddie,
what's up, bro?
Hey, man, same grind, different day, my brother.
I love it.
Yes, sir. All right, so we got you, and then we're just waiting on Khalil. And then are we ready to go? Yeah, he's definitely want to get him on the line before he has to go into work because he's got some important stuff to go over. 10+ stores, 10+ stores, 25+ stores, 10+ stores. In the meantime, while I have you, we can quickly go over your stuff. Obviously, we went over some quick changes to make inside your funnel in our discussion last week. Were you able to make those changes?
I made all the changes outside of the color scheme. I'm waiting on it.
All right. Here, in that case, let me, because time is just of the essence, and I know that's not necessarily your forte. So here, I'll just I'll adjust the colors for you.
Okay.
Because this week, Eddie, obviously we went over a lot last week. Before I even throw anything else at you, like new wise, the big focus this week is really going to be about email marketing and that follow-up, right? Building that infrastructure. Obviously you have the skeleton in place now, right? We'll get some of the color scheme stuff, but I mean, that's your system right there. So once we kind of get those emails customized and ready to go, we'll connect it to the funnel that you already have in place, right? Make sure that everything is integrated correctly and is showing up on your website. And then boom, once you have that, you can start running basic traffic for free, right? You can do, stuff on LinkedIn, you can do stuff on Facebook, you can do stuff on your network, right? You can start getting people, you can start driving traffic. Like you'll be in the ball game once we add in those emails and, make sure everything is integrated. So that's a big milestone right there.
Yeah.
That's a really big milestone right there. And then again, with that, then the logical next step from there is simply, we start running paid traffic. But, that's a beast all on its own. But, you've gone from not really having anything. You had kind of a webinar idea way back in the day and a bunch of content. And now it's, being balled into like a process, into a system, right? Once it's live, once you have traffic, now we can start testing different pieces, right? Obviously you have this webinar, you have it framed in a certain type of way. You can test how you present the webinar, right? You can test the different headlines. The fastest way to do that is when we're running ads. We can do different headlines in the ads, and then whichever ad gets the best click-through rate, then you can see, okay, well, this headline variation is more popular than that.
Yeah.
So that's a few steps down, but again, you're right around the corner from that. So before we transition over to Khalil, like I said, in your case, I'm going to send you over some emails, and I want you to go ahead and fill in the blanks and customize around your offer, right? And these will be emails for people that opt in, right? Once they join that list, here's what they get. Right? We want to make sure that they show up for the webinar, and then we'll have some post-webinar stuff as well, right? So pre-webinar, post-webinar, boom. Once those are customized, I'll help you integrate everything, and that's good.
Cool.
All right. And then, as I mentioned before, I'll also customize the color scheme. So that way you don't have to worry about that. That'll just be good.
Yeah, I appreciate it, man.
Like I said from the very, very beginning, man, I'm about results, right? This isn't about, just doing stuff to do it. This is about, hey, and it's a process. Like once we're running traffic, like this is the start of things, right? Obviously this program is designed to help you guys get to that launch and jump, and now you're swimming, right?
Yeah.
But once you're in the water swimming, that's a process in and of itself. Hold on, Khalil's calling me. It looks like he dropped off the call. Hold on. Hey, I see you dropped off the call.
Yeah, I'm at that spot about 7 minutes. I missed what you were saying.
Yeah, okay.
You cut out right when you said emails to fill out.
Okay. Well, technically, you cut right out when I said
right. Touche.
But no, that's fine. No worries. Eddie, before we pivot, like I said, with where you're at, I'm gonna go and customize the colors on your funnel, right? You've already customized the messaging. If there's any other notes I see in there as I go through it, I'll shoot it to you via email so you can just kind of make those adjustments. And then you're going to customize the email templates that I send over to you. Once you've customized them, you're going to send them back to me for my review, right? I'll let you know whatever feedback I have, and then you'll have final email drafts, okay?
Cool.
All right, that's where you're at right now. Don't worry about anything until we get past that part.
All right, I'm anxious, but I'm patient.
Well, I know you are, but I mean, like I said, you're already there, right? Once we turn everything on, like you can start sharing it on LinkedIn, you can share it on any social platforms you're on. Like you're in the ball game then, right?
Yeah.
Like now it's go time. You actually have something, so that's a good start.
Cool.
All right, Khalil.
Yeah.
All right. Obviously, we didn't get a chance to connect last week, but I want to definitely bring you up to speed. Where I'd like for you to be at this week is really on the lead generation and building and customizing your emails.
Okay.
Right. But we also, because you're doing high ticket and you have not so much unique setup, but there's that extra step in there of you actually connecting with the vendors. I want to make sure that there's, we fill in like one more checkbox before we get there. All right. So in your case, I'm on the site now. It definitely looks way more perfect, like this, from what it was before, when you just had an idea to what you're looking at now. This looks 100 million times more legit.
Yo, thanks, man.
Yeah, I mean, you can tell somebody about a store like this now, and they're not gonna go there and be like, oh, you actually have a store now. So
yeah,
that's something real. The only thing I'll say, design-wise, something that you can change pretty quickly is your featured image. Customize colors. Give me 1 second. Let me make this.
Yeah.
Okay, your featured image where you have the guy doing the curl with the barbells. Make your button pop out. It looks like make it bigger, and then make it it looks like there's still some transparency there.
Yeah, there is. I fixed all the other ones and forgot to do the feature image one. So
yeah, man.
Now. Yeah.
Awesome. Always make every button you ever make should scream, and it should scream click me. It should never blend in. It should never be easy to gloss over. It should never be small. It should always be huge and bright. And if you throw a drop shadow in there, right, like it should look just clickable.
Okay.
Right. That's. I mean, other than that, the homepage is in a good place for right now, at least for the purposes of stepping to a vendor, right, or your actual supplier, and saying, hey, feed my business. right?
Yeah.
So make that adjustment. Next, obviously, you know, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 categories. Looks like each of these has, you know, 4 to 5 or 4 to 6 products inside each of them.
Mm-hmm.
So you're at what? 4 times 6. God, what is that? 24?
24.
Okay. Now, one of the things that's going to help you when you are approaching the wholesaler or the high ticket suppliers, right, is obviously how, hey, here's my store, this is my business, I'm legit, here's what we have going on, you know, here's how I'll present a product like yours, right? You know, you want it to look as legit as possible. So that means we want to have at least a few of your product pages, like, you know, in a pretty good place. Now I see that you've got like on your treadmill. Okay, so I see you want to make your text a little bit bigger. Like there's just some organizational stuff that you'll want to do.
Okay.
Description, is that a typo? Let's see. I see. So it looks like you optimized your product pages a little bit more than even from the last time I looked at it, which is good.
Yeah.
But you're gonna want to polish them a little bit more. I know your theme. You got some type of weird shoptimized unsupported theme, but you're able to increase the actual. You can't change the font, but you can up the text size. Correct?
No. From what I saw and what I tried, the only way I was able to do it is if I actually went to Canva and then just made an image out of it and expanded the image and reinserted it. That was the only way I found so far to do it.
Well, what I mean is, okay, so aside from images, now I'm talking about here. Let's let me share my screen.
I know you're talking about text. I'm saying I had to convert the text into an image to be able to change the size. It didn't allow me to change the size of the wording in any way inside of my Shopify.
Crap, and see, this is one of those situations where I would like you to be able to see the screen. Eddie, can you see my screen?
Wait, let me try and hold on 1 second.
Yeah.
Hold on 1 second. I'm going to hop back in the Hangouts now because I'm in a different spot.
Okay.
Call. All right, I'm gonna hang up off the phone and try and jump in. Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Ooh, the vortex.
Yeah, his website looks legit.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, both of you guys are light years ahead of where you were. You know, you actually have something now. We're not talking about ideas. Hey, this is what I'd like to do one day. Now we're talking about something that you guys actually have, and now it's like, okay, how do I build it up, right? Like, how do I get more people in front of it? That's a good conversation to have, especially you guys who do it entrepreneurs. How many dreamers, right? Dreamers do you deal with that never get past the dream of things? So you guys are in a good spot. Khalil, can you see my screen?
Yeah, I can see it now.
Jesus, you're driving. Listen, man, I don't want to be the reason you die, bro. Like,
I'm in the passenger seat, so we're good. Everybody say hi to the missus.
I'm in.
Sure, she's driving.
Okay. Awesome.
She's holding me down right now, so I get some work done.
Awesome. Okay, cool. All right, so you can see my screen. You can see your product page here, right? This is pretty good, right? Like, it's in a good place.
Yeah, I can see it. And I'm putting myself on
cool
because of the sound.
Okay. Well, yeah, as long as you're able to follow along with what I'm showing, yeah. And then just unmute if you have a comment. But I would get rid of this where it says 14 sold in the last hour. I would get rid of that. You know, this high ticket stuff. I wouldn't do that. We want to make this button. Remember what I said about your buttons? They should never blend in. This dull gray is not a CTA color at all. Right? You need your buttons to be either an orange or green. Right? And in a very, very, very rare situation, you can use red, but you have to test it. Sometimes red can do really well. Sometimes red can set off people's internal warning of like, oh, scam. So it's worth a test. I would say do orange, kind of like what you have on your home page. Obviously, make that darker and pop out more and bigger, but that should be your CTA color, that orange. And then just be consistent with all your call to action buttons. Got it? I can see your picture. Just nod if you got it. Okay, cool. So that's that. Then when it comes to this, right? This text is like, the information here is okay, but you're gonna want to. This is what I'm saying. Like, you want to try to make it bigger, like this, or like the headline sections. I would bold it so that it's easier to kind of skim and scan down. Now, is this text here? You should be able to edit it inside of inside Shoptimized with the theme editor or with your text editor. Are you saying that is what you're not able to edit?
Correct. I can try it. I'll look again just to confirm. I know in the back office for Shopify, it didn't allow me to do it. I'll look again in actual Shoptimized if it allows me to change the size of the font. I believe, and now I think about it, I believe it did inside Shoptimized. For that one in particular, some of them do, some of them don't. Like, some features of text will, some won't. So I'll double check and see if that one was one of them.
Okay. All right. So that's a somewhat easy one to do. Now, what I would also say though is, and obviously it's something I touched on in the modules, is when you're doing this, it's more than just, here are the features, right? Like, oh, coaching membership, that's a feature. Touchscreen display, that's a feature. 38 workout apps, that's a feature, right? We want to, and obviously the video is a great touch. I strongly recommend it. You hear me talk about videos all over everything I've ever done. You want to have at least, maybe even if it's just a paragraph or two of like just copy for each product that paints the picture. It creates like an emotional connection from where that person is to where they want to be. That way, when you start to introduce those features, right, they are supporting that end goal, right? So, it's not enough to just say, hey, here's the specs. You've got to talk about the benefits, and you want to really connect the dots between the pain or dissatisfaction that these people are feeling with their bodies, with their physical fitness, right? The benefit of how this product can actually help them, and then help them envision what life would be like with something like that. Then when you roll out the details after, each detail supports that end goal, right? Once they can picture how having something like this will help their life, how it'll help them solve their problem. Now, when you talk about a year of coach membership, it supports that. You talk about a smart touchscreen display, they can see how that would make what their goal is easier, right? But if you don't take any time to sell it, right, it's not going to be quite as effective. Does that make sense? Okay, right. Again, it's just like a salesman, right? A good salesman is not going to just take you over to whatever they're buying, just like, oh, here's this feature, here's a feature, here's a feature, here's a feature, here's a feature, right? That's not an effective sales process. They'll say, well, hey, what brought you here? What are you looking for? What are you struggling with? Right? They'll do a little bit of probing, and then they'll start to connect the dots. In this case, because you can't ask those probing questions, that's where we're going to use our knowledge of our customer avatar. Remember, we talked about, who our target audience is. What do we say his name was? Like, Bryson or whatever.
Blake.
Yeah, Blake. The upper middle class guy. He's busy working out from home, building his home gym. What's he struggling with, right? Well, his body doesn't look the way that he wants it to. Like, he looks in the mirror and he's not happy, but he does not have enough time to go to the gym and manage his busy schedule, right? He wants a body that, either A, looks how it did back when he was in his early 20s, or B, he wants to look better and feel better than he's ever felt before. But it's hard for him to do that because he doesn't feel like he has the time, right? And when you put that in their face, at least now they're engaged. And now when you say, hey, this is perfect for you because it includes this, because it includes that, you know, you're not sure what to do. Well, there's 38 different workout apps on here, right? You know, you're busy, you're going, you want to be more efficient and have like a personal coach. That's why having that big old touchscreen display, right? You have this 1-year coach membership included, so you don't feel like you're alone, right? You know, you can get all this stuff, you know, this type of stuff isn't super important to them, but you know, you have to connect the dots. So first I want you to log in and see if you can actually adjust the fonts. It looks like you're probably at a 10 here. I would not do anything under a 14. So it's really easy to see. No one's squinting, right? And it's just really easy to see and scan. Definitely double check that. Now, what I would do is I'll take one of your products. I'll let you, and you can pick, right? You can pick which one. But you know, I will go ahead and tighten up the copy for you, right? Like I'll do an example for you of like what I mean with like kind of a benefit driven, something that touches on the pain. Like I'll do the copy for one of your products. And then once you see how I outline it, then you'll be able to replicate that for the additional products. Right? And obviously,
awesome, man. Thank you.
No problem. Now, you're not going to do this for all 24, right? That's why I was like, hey, you got a lot here. You don't have the time to do 24 before you start reaching out to vendors. That's not an efficient use of your time. I would say get to 5. Remember, like I said before, that 5 to 7 sweet spot, right? Ones that you can say, hey, look, I already have a wholesaler in mind that I'm going to step to about this product. I know based on my keyword research, I know that this is a popular one. You know, when I do a Google search, you know, I can see that other people are sending it. Now, this therapeutic bike, like, you know, 10 plus stores, 25 plus stores, you know, 15 plus, 10 plus stores. This is a little bit trickier. I would go with ones where there's not quite as much competition for your initial ones. But, you know, again, get 5 to 7 good ones. Pick the one that you want me to hook up for you. I'll do it. Then your job is to circle back around and do your best to replicate what I've done for those additional 5 to 7 products. You got it? Perfect. That is priority number 1 is going to be that, because you can't do anything until you have your vendors in place, and vendors will not take you. Well, you want to give yourself the best, put the best foot forward. And when you go to a vendor and say, hey, here's my setup, here's how I'm presenting your product, and they say, okay, you're in the ball game, right? So that's where you're at. Is you, as I mentioned, I'll do one product page. You'll check the font. And then once you've done those, the other 5, you'll let me know that, hey, Mike, these 5 products are done. And then you'll send me the links to them so I can review and say, hey, adjust this, adjust that, or give you the green light. Once you have that green light, then I want you to reach out to the wholesale vendors, the suppliers. You mentioned that you have several lists, several directories, right? I see you're nodding good. You're going to reach out to them and you're going to secure your suppliers. I believe you already have like some outreach scripts, correct? Perfect. You're going to use those. You're going to lock down some suppliers. Now, one thing I will say right before you do that, download the Wheelio app for Shopify. Wheelio. Let me show you. I've showed it to you before, but I want you to, let's see if I'm gonna have to go into incognito mode for it to pop up. Yeah, I might need to do incognito mode. But Wheelio is by far the like hottest lead generation app for, in my opinion at least, and my testing for Shopify. I mentioned that to you before, and it's like a Wheel of Fortune style pop-up when someone gets and someone sees that, you know, there's a few different prizes.
I remember you showing it to me, and you can pick which prize they actually get beforehand.
Exactly. Yes. Exactly. There it is. This is what it looks like. Right.
Yeah.
So you can say whatever the hell you want here, right? And you could really be giving away just one thing. You could really be giving away two things, right? Once you have the app set up, you actually set the frequency percentage, right? So this could be the free T-shirt. They could have that as 80%, and then this 15% off. Well, probably they have something like this 5% off at 80, free T-shirt 10, and 15% off another 10, right? There's no chance of you getting some of these other ones, but you know you can control what you want them to win, right? And look, it's just they don't feel necessarily like it's lead gen or like they're like, oh, I want to win one of these things. I throw my email in and boom. And then of course you say one spin, your email will be used to send you special weekly offers from our store. You may unsubscribe at any time. You don't have to say too much more than that. But this will help you capture leads like gangbusters, especially if you're dealing with people that are coming from a product to your product page, right? You know, if you're using your Google Shopping ads and someone lands on a product page, and then once they land on that product page, like that Wheel of Fortune appears and they can see, oh, I can win 5% off, I can win 10% off, I can win a free T-shirt, they'll go along with it, you know, whatever giveaways that you think you can facilitate. Or I want to win this free ebook, right? You know, this free physical fitness ebook to go along with it, that's just PLR that you can get. You know, there's some options there, but that'll help you convert more people because again, with high ticket stuff like this, the impulse buys are going to be very, very low, like to non-existent. So you're going to make your money on email marketing and retargeting. That's where your money is going to come from. So you want to make sure that you're absolutely in the best position to capture the lead. Capture the lead, get your pixel in place. Your ROI for cold traffic is going to be shit, but your ROI for retargeting is going to be lovely, right? And then anytime that you send emails, right, that's at zero cost. There's no acquisition cost to email someone on your list. So whatever they spend is all yours because you've already paid to acquire that customer. That's one of my other students, similar to yourself, easydigging.com, right? Once they made that transition, before they were relying strictly on SEO. And once Google changed their most recent algorithm, they went from, almost 6-figure store to making barely 20 G's. Like they were really, really struggling. So, we went to optimize their pages. We added some different lead generation elements to make sure that they were capturing emails. We started running Facebook ads. And again, the Facebook ads, the cold ads, a little bit in the red, right? Got a few sales, but their products are $50 to $300, so they're not impulse buys. So they got a couple of their low ticket sales. They spent like $400. They made about $150 from the cold ads, but the retargeting ads, we had that at a $3 a day budget. They did over $1,200 in retargeting. $1,200 in retargeting, right? So you do the math. You take that $1,200, then you add in the other like $150. So we were at $1,350. They spent $400 and made $1,350. Will you take those numbers? Right? Yeah, obviously it's still kind of drop shipping, so your margins aren't great on that. But even if you walk away with $600, right? You made $200 off the transaction. That's quick flipping. That's easy math, and you're capturing emails along the way. That's what your business is going to look like. So download Wheelio. You have a 14-day free trial on it. Then after that, it's like $15 a month. Add that to your Shopify account. Get started with the free trial. That'll help you with some urgency. And that'll also help when you step to a wholesaler and they're looking at a product page and then they see that you have a Wheelio lead generation style app. They're like, okay, this is a serious player. This is a serious player. That's where you're at now. We don't need to forecast too much further past that point until you get to there, right? We need to get your product pages hooked up. We need to get your lead generation in place. We need to get you in contact with your wholesale suppliers so you actually have a way to sell this stuff. That is where you're at. Once you get past that point, then we can progress from there. Right? So in your case, I won't send you the emails to customize just yet. I want to get this product stuff out of the way. I want you to be able to focus on getting your suppliers lined up. I want to make sure that you have Wheelio in place. Once those are done, then I'll give you emails to customize like we're doing with Eddie. And then your store will be in a good place. You'll have your email automation. You'll have your store up. You'll have your suppliers. Then we're just talking about traffic. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I think most of those steps really shouldn't take more than a day or two. Do you still want to hold off on sending the emails, or honestly, I think I can get most of that done pretty quickly.
Okay. I mean, look, I'll send you over the emails. I don't like to overwhelm people, but you know, if you can, you know, again, get in contact with suppliers. Like I'm gonna schedule your actually redoing. Once you let me know which product you need to chop it down to, again, those 5 to 7 products that you're gonna step to your suppliers with, and then let me know which that you want to edit, and then I'll make time to do that for you tomorrow. I'll edit that product page. So
cool. Do you have any suggestions on which one? I was thinking of treadmill. Which do you think? If you have a suggestion on which one to pick for the copyright.
I'm not one that likes to do stuff based off of opinion, right? So in that case, I would say you look at your competition, right? Look at some of those competing stores. Look at your research, right? Look for low-hanging fruit. And then looking for that low-hanging fruit that you can already see is, you know, popular. It's selling on Amazon. It's selling on some of your competition. You know, you're looking at, hey, this is selling here. This is doing well here, right? You know, when you do a search for the actual product itself, right? You can look at in Google Shopping, or you can just do a Google search for it. You know, you click your shopping tab, and then just see, you know, like how many people are selling it, right? See, this one isn't bad. Like there's not a whole lot of competition for, I mean, that 20 plus, 5 plus. Actually, yeah, you could probably get in with that. I mean, there's some competition on that particular treadmill. You might want something with a little bit less competition. 5 plus, 5 plus.
I'm thinking with the other items with, you know, we got the yoga mat and the medicine ball. I feel like those would be even more competition.
Well, those are impulse buys, right? You know, you can advertise those on Facebook. You can use those as add to carts. Everything on here is going to have some competition, but that's where you find that sweet spot of, okay, affordable keyword. You know, I can see something I can compete for. I can also see who I'm competing against, right? And then just kind of go based on, you know, what the data tells you, right? You have 24 items now. Chop it down to what you believe would be your 5 to 7 best ones to start with, right? It's something that's hot. It's something that you feel like you can compete with, and then we'll start there. And then out of those 5 to 7, if you know that you've already kind of trimmed it down, then at that point in time, then it's your call. I would not necessarily say, hey, Mike, do one of my low ticket ones for me. Like, you know, once you see how I structure the copy, you'll have a pretty good idea how to organize this stuff. And then you know, then you'll send it back to me, and I'll you know, give you some proofreading, feedback, and whatnot. But take the 24 that you have, you know, copy the name of the product into a Google search bar, click the shopping tab, and then just take a look at your competition. Generally you want to find, I like to start with products where, you want to, like, if you're looking on this list, you want to see, you don't want to see a whole bunch of sold by 10 plus stores, sold by 25 plus stores, 20 plus stores, right? You want to see something with a little bit less. But I mean, this one isn't bad. Not every single one has 10 plus, but you just got to search around a little bit. Once you get some more traction, it'll be better. But just try to look for something with maybe a little bit less competition. Again, you have 24 products. You're competing on the product level, not the brand level, right? So search, look, see what you're working with on a product level to check competition. Does that make sense? So that's why I said take some time to focus on that. It sounds like it, oh, I can do that in 10 minutes. You're not going to do it in 10 minutes. You're not going to do it in 10 minutes, right? Actually search, use your keyword tools, use some of the different, and I made a video for the e-com hacking. I'm going to add it to the membership later, so I'll send you an email when I add it, and that'll kind of help. But we've already talked a lot about how to find your competition, how to see what they're selling. So I would do that and let them tell you what you want to focus on. Does that make sense? Awesome. So let me know when you have your 5 to 7. Out of that, I can look and say, hey, I'll do this one. Or you can say, hey, Mike, I'd really like you to do this one, whatever. Let's start with that, right? And then you can download Wheelio free trial at any time. Okay. So do you have any questions outside of that? Okay. Eddie, you got any questions for me?
Nope.
All right, perfect. So as I mentioned before, I've gone over where each of you are at and what each of you need to do next. Of course, send me an email with the subject line ESE if you have questions in between now and then. Eddie, as I mentioned, I'm going to customize your colors and then send you over some emails to customize, and then you'll send those back to me once you've made those adjustments. Khalil, you're going to go ahead and download the Wheelio free trial, and you're going to zero in on 5 to 7 products that you want to focus on first, and then you're going to let me know which of those products that you would like me to optimize. I'll do it, then you'll do the rest, then you'll step to your suppliers, okay? All right, perfect, fellas. Good meeting. Reach out to me if you have any questions in between now and the next time that we talk. I'm here for you, and, onward and upward.
Thanks, man.
All right, go forth and fight like warriors.
Let's do it. Thanks, man.
All right, bye.
All right.